all the time. And today, well, we're tackling one that seems to stick around.
Uh-huh.
What really happened between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, specifically around that 2017 inauguration period?
Right. There's a lot of noise out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you want the facts? Quick and clear. That's what we do.
Our mission today is basically to sift through the reports, the credible stuff from back then, and just clarify those interactions.
Okay, let's jump in. There's this narrative, you sometimes hear it, that Musk somehow abandoned Trump during the 2017 inauguration fundraising.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
What did the sources actually say about that specific claim?
Well, it's interesting. Despite that idea floating around, we couldn't find any widely reported evidence to back it up. Actually, the picture early on looks quite different.
Different. How so? Because what we saw indicated Musk was actually on a couple of Trump's business advisory councils right at the start of the presidency.
Exactly. He
Right.
joined two of them, which, doesn't exactly scream abandonment.
Not at all. It suggests some level of engagement, at least initially, willingness to be involved.
Yeah, definitely. Engaging with the administration on business stuff, but and this is important, it wasn't like a permanent thing.
Right. It shifted. We know he eventually left those councils.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst?
The big turning point, according to pretty much all the reports, was Trump pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
Ah, okay. That makes sense given Musk's focus on climate issues, electric vehicles.
Precisely. That was a major point of public disagreement for him. He stepped down right after that announcement.
Okay, let's zoom back in on the inauguration fundraising itself. Forget the councils for a sec. Was Musk a big money guy there? Someone whose departure would even be noticed as abandonment?
Good question. So the inauguration fundraising was huge, record-breaking, actually. They pulled in about $107 million.
Wow, $107 million. That's a lot. Not the $239 million figure sometimes thrown around.
No, that larger number likely relates to different fundraising, maybe later campaign stuff. For the inauguration itself, $107 million was the reported record.
Got it. And Musk's role in that $107 million.
Based on the reports we reviewed, he wasn't listed as a major donor to that specific fund.
So the whole idea of him ditching the fundraising effort, it kind of falls apart if he wasn't a central financial player there to begin with.
Exactly. It just doesn't seem to fit the facts as reported. What really comes through is, well, a much more complicated relationship.
Nuanced, maybe.
Yeah, nuanced is a good word. It wasn't all support, wasn't all opposition, especially at the start.
The sources we looked at definitely mentioned that. Like, Musk sometimes praised certain Trump policies. I think deregulation was mentioned.
Deregulation came up, but then strong disagreements on other things, climate change being the really obvious one.
So it's this mix, finding some common ground, but also having these fundamental clashes.
Absolutely, which, isn't uncommon when you have major figures interacting with political leaders. Alignment isn't always 100%.
True. Okay, so for listeners wanting to maybe explore this a bit more, where could they look?
Well, for context on Musk's time on those advisory councils, going back to archives of the daily podcast from the New York Times around early 2017 might be useful.
Good suggestion.
And for more general analysis of Musk, Trump, and tech politics intersections, Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway on Pivot often get into that territory.
Right, they cover that intersection a lot. And maybe also the Ben Shapiro show sometimes touches on Musk's political kind of shifts.
Possibly, yeah. And of course, if you want Musk's own sort of broader views, though not specifically just on Trump, the Lex Fridman podcast has hours of him talking.
Right, direct from the source, so you have to sift through it. Okay, so let's just quickly recap the key things.
Go for it.
1, no real evidence Musk abandoned Trump during the 2017 inauguration fundraising. He wasn't a major donor there anyway.
Correct. 2, he did initially engage serving on those business advisory councils.
But then 3, he left those councils later, specifically citing the Paris Agreement withdrawal as the reason.
Yep. And overall, it points to a complex, sometimes cooperative, sometimes conflicting relationship. Not simple.
Definitely not simple. Okay, so here's something to chew on as we wrap up. Thinking about Musk and Trump, but also more broadly. Why do these powerful figures, CEOs, innovators, engage with political leaders, even when they clearly don't agree on everything?
Yeah.
What's the calculation there? Is it purely about specific policies, access, something else entirely?
That's a deep question. What drives that kind of engagement?
Yeah, something for you to think about. That's your next rabbit hole.